Do you ever find yourself snapping over the smallest things? A driver cuts you off, your colleague sends that passive-aggressive email, your partner forgets something important, and suddenly your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, and you are off to the races. I used to live there. Anger was almost a companion of mine. I thought it kept me sharp, alert, maybe even strong. But when I looked closely, all it really gave me were headaches, high blood pressure, and a reputation for being hard to deal with. Today, my life feels different. I don't really get angry anymore. At least, not in the way I used to. That doesn't mean I live in some fantasy world where no one annoys me. It means I changed how I meet anger when it shows up. And you can too. By the end of this talk, I want you to have practical tools to meet anger differently, to turn those flare-ups into moments of presence, maybe even compassion. And yes, to laugh more at the little absurdities of life instead of letting them ruin your day. If any of this sparks a memory for you, or if you have your own strategies, please share them in the comments. This isn't just my journey. It's something we can practice together. Part 1. What anger really is. Let's start with the nature of anger. What is it, really? When anger rises, it feels like power. Your blood is pumping, your voice is louder, your body wants to move. But if you look carefully, anger is a collapse. It narrows your attention, shrinks your world into me versus them. Think about the last time you were furious. Did you see the whole picture clearly, or just the one thing that offended you? Did your mind open up to options, or did it slam shut around one reaction? One of my teachers compared anger to holding a hot coal and waiting for someone else to get burned. The longer you hold on, the more you suffer. The key is this: anger is not strength, it is tension, and tension can be released. Part 2. Life is only as long as one breath. Here is a perspective that shifted me. Life is only as long as one breath. That's not philosophy, it's a medical fact. Stop breathing and the whole show ends. Every inhale and exhale is another chance, another life. So when you see that, when you really taste the fragility of this moment, the urge to waste it yelling at the barista for getting your coffee order wrong feels silly. You could use that same breath to smile, to say thank you, to notice the aroma of the coffee in your hand. When I started seeing each moment as precious, anger felt like an extravagant waste of life. Part 3. Relaxation, the opposite of anger. Now, here's a surprising twist. The opposite of anger is not calmness. It is relaxation. Think about how anger lives in the body. Your jaw locks, your shoulders rise, your fists clench. That is tension. Relaxation dissolves anger. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take a long breath, longer than you think you need. Right there, you are already loosening anger's grip. There is a story about a man surrounded by mischievous children. They pulled at his sleeves, tugged his ears, pestered him without mercy. The more he pushed them away, the harder they came back. Finally, he stopped reacting. He relaxed. The kids grew bored and wandered off. Our emotions behave the same way. Fight them and they multiply. Relax with them and they fade on their own. So the next time you feel anger rise, don't fight it, don't justify it. Relax. That simple act can change the whole outcome. Part 4. The everyday training ground. You don't need a monastery to train this skill. You already have the perfect practice ground, your everyday life. Your kitchen sink, your inbox, the traffic jam on your commute, these are the places to train equanimity. Here's a simple practice. When something annoying happens, instead of immediately reacting, say quietly to yourself, just this. Coffee spilled on your shirt? Just this. Long line at the store? Just this. Your child refusing to put on shoes? Just this. You will notice. Just this doesn't mean you like it. It means you meet it exactly as it is, without the extra story of this should not be happening. Anger is mostly the story on top of reality, not reality itself. Part 5. The patience of a hen. There's a beautiful teaching about patience. Imagine a hen hatching her egg. She doesn't sit there tapping the shell shouting, "Hurry up." She doesn't mark days on a calendar. She just sits warm and steady until the chick is ready. We, on the other hand, get impatient. We want the driver in front of us to move faster, our partner to listen better, our colleague to finish the project sooner. That impatience turns to anger. But life has its own rhythm. You can't make the chick hatch by yelling at the egg. You can't make the traffic move by cursing at it. When you feel anger rise, ask, what am I forcing here? What am I rushing? That question can soften impatience into patience. Before we move on, let me ask you something. What is the one situation in your daily life that tests your patience the most? For some people, like me, it is traffic. For others, it is family dinners. Drop yours in the comments, because hearing your stories not only helps me shape these talks, it also reminds us all that we are not alone in this practice, or this world for that matter. Now, patience is one piece of the puzzle, but let's look deeper. Why does anger flare up so easily in the first place? Often, what looks like anger on the surface is actually hiding something softer underneath. Part 6. Anger hides hurt. Another shift for me was realizing that anger often hides hurt. Think of a time you snapped at someone close. Underneath the yelling, wasn't there fear of being ignored, of not being valued, of being hurt again? Anger is often pain in disguise. When you see that, you can meet it with compassion instead of aggression. The next time you are boiling, try saying quietly, "This is pain, not power." That simple line creates space to treat yourself with kindness instead of punishment. And sometimes, when you recognize your own pain, you can see the pain in the other person too. Suddenly, the fight softens. Part 7. Relaxation as a daily practice. Of course, it's one thing to talk about this, another to live it. Equanimity is like muscle. You build it with repetition, not inspiration. Each time you relax instead of reacting, you lift that weight. Each time you breathe instead of snapping, you do another rep. Over weeks, months, years, that becomes who you are. I've seen this in my own life. Decades ago, I was the kind of man who could turn red at the smallest provocation. Now, people sometimes ask, do you ever get angry? I laugh, because of course I still feel the spark. But the spark fizzles before it becomes a fire. That's practice. Not perfection, but training. Part 8. Humor is medicine. One of the gifts of not getting stuck in anger is humor. Life becomes funny again. I remember the time my kids left their socks on the living floor for the 1,000th time. The old me would have lectured, fumed, maybe even slammed the door. The newer me looked at the socks and thought, well, at least they have feet to wear them. And I laughed. Humor breaks anger's spell. If you can find the absurdity, you're already free. Part 9. Connecting instead of retreating. Here's an important lesson. You don't overcome anger by retreating from life, by hiding from situations that trigger you. True equanimity happens in connection. If you isolate yourself, you might avoid irritation, but you also avoid growth. You miss the training ground. The real practice is in your relationships, in your workplace, in the chaos of family life. That's where patience, compassion, and humor become real. So don't wait for a cave or a quiet cabin. Start where you are, with the people around you. Part 10. Practical tools for everyday equanimity. Let me give you some very practical, bite-sized tools you can carry with you. The breath reset. When you feel anger rise, pause for 3 deep breaths. Slow, steady, full exhales. This is often enough to stop the spiral. Label it gently. When you notice anger, just say, oh, anger is here. Not I am angry, but anger is here. This reminds you it's temporary. Soften the body, drop your shoulders, relax your jaw, unclench your fists. Change the body and the mind will follow. Ask a question. What am I rushing? What am I forcing? This disrupts the automatic reaction. Humor check, ask, will this be funny in 5 years? If the answer is yes, laugh now. Simple, portable, and surprisingly powerful. Part 11, why this matters. Why should you care about not getting angry? Isn't anger sometimes useful? Doesn't it motivate change? Here's the difference. Clarity motivates change, not anger. A calm, focused mind sees options, builds solutions, inspires trust. An angry mind only breaks things. Anger is not only a mental or emotional trouble, it has very real consequences in the body's machinery. When we get angry, our adrenal glands flood the bloodstream with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Our heart rate and blood pressure shoot up. Digestion slows. Blood flow is diverted from the gut to the limbs. Our immune function can weaken. And over time, repeated bouts damage our blood vessels and increase risk of heart disease. On the other side of the coin, our physical health habits, good sleep, balanced nutrition, regular exercise, managing inflammation, even simple relaxation, give us more buffer against anger. Poor eating, lack of rest, or letting stress build unchecked sharpen our irritability, reduce our mental flexibility, and make the automatic reaction of anger more likely. Thus, health is not separate from wisdom. Tending our body tends our mind. When we build strong health habits, we are building the ground in which equanimity can grow. When you learn to live with equanimity, you don't become passive. You become powerful in a deeper way. People listen to you, not because you shout, but because your presence is steady. And inside, your health improves. Your sleep deepens. Your relationships warm. That's not theory. That's my lived experience. So why don't I get angry anymore? Because I realize anger is expensive and life is short. Every breath is too precious to waste in fury. Instead, I choose to relax, to breathe, to be patient, to laugh. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's the one situation that most often makes you angry? Share it in the comments. Let's see if together we can find a different way to meet it. And if this talk helped, share it with someone who could use a little less fire in their chest. Subscribe and let us continue the path together, one breath at a time. See you in the next episode.